Seekers, if you're watching this video, that means you are ready to do your math work for the week. So let's go ahead and talk about that. This is the week of May 11th through May 15th. And for this week, you have math activities number 3 and 4 to get done, as shown on here. And remember, this is the week you're reading chapters 8 through 14. And for math, you're doing 3 and 4. And that's what I have up here. Now, your math 3 is this down here. I have marked out math 2 because you've got that done last week. Your math 4 is this up here. This bottom part is for math 5, and you don't need that till next week. So you're doing math 3 and math 4 this week. Now, I'm going to go through each of those and give you some tips and tricks to help make that math a little bit easier. So, first, I want you to come in and take a look at math 3. Now, I made a copy of this and put it on the top part of the paper so I could have some workspace down here so it looks a little bit different than your packet, but it's the same exact problem. It says, Bat's sister Janie often takes a walk in the story. If Janie walks 2/3 of a mile from her house to a park, and then 1/4 of a mile from the park to a friend's house, how far did Janie walk? Sorry guys, I know you hear my dogs playing in the background. They're just showing. No, I didn't mean stop it. Actually stop it. They're really excited about math, as you can tell. So, anyway. So all that's asking us to do is add these two fractions. That's all it wants us to do. I rewrote the original problem here in pink. The original problem is 2/3 plus 1 1/4. Well, you guys know you cannot add these fractions until you get those common denominators. And I know all of my seekers know when we have 3 and we have 4, we know that common denominator is going to be 12. So, to get our 3 to a 12, we have to multiply it by 4. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. So, 2 times 4 gives us 8. 3 times 4 gives us 12. So, 2/3 is the same as 8/12. Now, our mixed number over here, 1 1/4, to get that 4 to a 12, we need to multiply it by 3. Whatever we do to the bottom, we need to do to the top. And so, we've got this to work out. I actually left it this blank because I want you to do the rest. I want you to finish finding that 12 common denominator for this fraction and writing your 1 times 3 in that blank, your 4 times 3 in this blank on your own paper. You don't actually have to draw the squares. I just did that so you knew there was something missing that you needed to fill in. And then once you have your 8/12 and your 1 and whatever your new fraction will be, I just want you to add those together, okay? That's what you do for that. Now, let's look at the challenge. It says, what if Janie walks 1/2 of a mile for 3 days and 2/3 of a mile for 4 days? How many total miles did she walk? You can do repeated addition for this if you wanted to. You could do the method I just showed you, but do multiple addings. Or you could multiply and then add. And that's what I did. So I drew a little arrow, came down here to work on this challenge. So I broke this down step by step to show you how to solve it. But I'm not solving it for you. I'm just showing you how to solve it. So it's saying for 3 days, she walked 1/2 of a mile. So we need to multiply 1/2 times 3. We know to represent 3 as a fraction, we do 3 over 1. And when you multiply fractions, you do not have to find common denominators for multiplying. You just multiply straight across. So straight across, you're going to do 1 times 3 to get your top number, your numerator. 2 times 1 to get your denominator. That's your new fraction. Then she walked 2/3 of a mile for 4 days. So 2/3 times 4. 2 times 4 is going to give you your numerator. 3 times 1 is going to give you your denominator. When you get those two fractions, you're going to take both of these and you're going to do step 3. You're going to add both improper fractions together, this one and this one. But remember, before you can add, you have to find that common denominator first. Just like we did earlier over here, where we found that common denominator, whatever we multiply the bottom by, we multiply the top by, you're going to have to do that. You're going to add your two new fractions, just like we did in the first step. And then the very last thing you have to do is to convert to a mixed number. Now, this may be the one thing that trips some of you guys up because it's been a while since we've done it. So, on my little sticky, I'm going to work an example. This is not the mixed number that you're going to have. This is not the answer. I just made up a mixed number to show you guys, okay? So I'm actually gonna have to turn this paper a little bit so that I can actually write. Thank you. All right, so improper fraction, 31 over 5. 31 is much bigger than 5, so that's why we know that's an improper fraction, because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So to turn this into a mixed number, you have to ask yourself, how many times can 5 go into 31? Well, because I'm a master of my multiplication facts, I know that 5 times 6 is 30. So that tells me 5 can go into 31 6 times. That 6 becomes my new whole number. All right? Now, the fraction that I have left, I know my denominator is going to stay the same. And all I have left to figure out is my numerator. Well, what I did with this 31, I determined that 5 can go into it 6 times, and 6 times 5 is 30, and we basically pulled 6 wholes out of our 31. Another way we did that is by subtracting 30, because 5 times 6 is what got us 30. So we know when we pulled out our whole number of 6, that was really pulling out 5 times 6, which is 30. So that's the same as saying 31 minus 30 leaves us with how much? Well, it leaves us with 1. So the answer for finding a mixed number for the improper fraction 31 over 5 is 6 1/5. That is how you convert an improper fraction to a mixed number. You see how many times the denominator can go into the numerator. You make that your whole number. You subtract out your denominator times your new whole number, which in this case was 30, and whatever you have remaining is your new numerator. So if you need help with that, no worries. I know it's been a little while since we tackled fractions because we had kind of moved on to order of operation and things like that towards the beginning of spring break there. So I know it's been a little while. If you need help, just shoot me a message. Task 4, I think, will be much more simple for you guys. So if you take a look here at task 4, you will see it's a word problem. Now, if you want the entire word problem read to you, that's not a problem. Hop onto Miss Fee's video and listen to her read that word problem aloud. But let me give you the rundown. What this word problem is asking you to do is divide. You're dividing 46 into 2,852. Now, the best way to do this is to start by doing some guessing and checking. And I will tell you, I'm sure that most of you don't know off the top of your head how many times, well, first of all, let me back up. We know that 46 is not going to go into 2. We know that 46 is not going to go into 28. So what you should be asking yourself in your mind right now is how many times 46 can go into 285. The best way to start that is with a guess and check. Guess and check using the strategies we've learned through class. We've learned that we can kind of estimate and get a rough guess as to where to start. Well, 46 is pretty close to 50. 285 is pretty close to 300. I can quickly, in my head, know that 50 times 6 would give me 300. Because I know my 5s and my 6 facts. I know that 5 times 6 is 30, and if I just add another 0 to that, that's 300. Well, 300 is a little high. So I don't know that I really want to start with 6. I may not. I may start with 5. I'm not really sure. It's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. So I want you to start with whatever you think, either 5 or 6, multiply it, and see what you get when you multiply either 5 or 6 times 46. If 5 is too low, I'm actually going to go ahead and tell you guys because I actually have worked this out. Let's just do it. Let's just do our 5. We know that 5 times 6 is 30. We know that 5 times 4 is 20 plus 3 is 23. So 46 times 5 is 230. That's actually a little bit too low. I think 46 can go in again. Let's try it. What happens when we add 46? We know if we go over 285, that means we need to work with the 5 for our quotient. If we're still under, then that means we can use the 6. So 230 plus 46 gives me 276, which is still lower than 245. So I know that my first number in my quotient is going to be a 6. And then I think you guys know how to continue this out. You do 6 times 46, which I've already told you is here. You're going to subtract. You're going to bring down your 2. You're going to look at your new number, and you're going to divide 46 into your new number. You're going to keep going just like that. I'm not going to work the whole thing out with you because I think you guys have it from there. But once you get all that worked out, you're done with that. All you had to do is find that one answer to the division problem. All right, guys, that is it. That is all of your math help. I think you guys are going to handle this no problem. But please know that if you get stuck, I'm there for you on Teams, or you have my cell phone number. If you need to reach out to me, I'll be happy to work through any or every one of these with you until you get it right. Okay, I hope you enjoy. Talk to you later.